For those that don't understand what a screen reader is at a sort of high level screen reader 101, maybe you could give kind of a high level overview of or explanation of what a screen reader is and what it does for you.
Yeah. So at a super high level, what a screen reader is it's a piece of software. Sometimes it's built into the device, sometimes it's not, that allows you to interact and operate a device using speech.
A screen reader, in essence, enables you to have the functionality of a cursor and a visual experience through a keyboard experience and utilizing your screen reader. Is that fair?
Yeah, the way I like to describe it is that for somebody who could see and uses the mouse and can see, they experience the web in two dimensions, right? A button might be in the upper right, you might have a skip link in the upper left and a footer in the bottom. For me as a screen reader user, it's one dimensional. What I do with the screen reader is I move forward and backward on the web page, right? And the order is just the way it's ordered out in the code.
But if that website or that document is not designed or developed to be interactive with that device, what does that experience end up being like?
Frustrating, right? And the severity of it can vary. Not all accessibility issues are created equal, and we'll show this in the upcoming demo, but sometimes you might encounter an accessibility issues on a website that are just annoying, right? Other times you might find something that is a complete showstopper and you just cannot move forward, right?
I think one of the things that we've been finding, particularly with the Title II requirements for state municipal government, it's long been known and understood that governments tend to rely upon PDFs in the PDF format as a means by which to post information or provide forms or convey information to the public at probably a higher level than a lot of other industries that use web interfaces. And I think being able to navigate through and sort of experience PDF documents that are accessible or inaccessible are important as well. And so, AP, I know I had shared with you a link to a PDF that I found on the Montana site, which interestingly enough was a really great service, I think, for the disabled community in the state of Montana, where if an individual had a challenge with a polling location and the accessibility of a polling location, there was a form that could be filled out to notify the Secretary of State's office of that issue.
Heading level 2 link polling place accessibility complaint form.
I have got that PDF opened up here and I have opened it up in Adobe. And so just like on a website, all I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to hit the down arrow key and just let my screen reader read through it and let's see what we get.
To graphic.
So right out of the gate, the first thing that I hear is to graphic. So the screen reader is telling me there's an image here, but I don't necessarily know what it's an image of.
Polling place accessibility complaint form.
Polling place accessibility complaint form. So the title of it read out. It did not read it out as a heading or anything like that. So it did read the text there, but it didn't tell me it's a title or a heading or anything like that.
Form to be filed with the election administrator and Secretary of State.
Form to be filed with the election administrator and Secretary of State.
Table with 4 columns and 7 rows.
Table with 4 columns and 7 rows. So presumably this is where you're going to start filling things out.
Perso and bringing G complaint T.
And then the screen reader really goes off the rails. And so I'll let it read that again.
Perso and bringing G complaint T.
It's essentially reading out a mixture of characters here. And so I believe it's trying to say something like person bringing the complaint. But because the reading order isn't properly set up in here, the screen reader is essentially blending words and characters together. And so that's what it ends up sounding like. If I keep going.
Name colon underline 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 underline.
Name colon underline underline underline. So it did tell me here is that this wants my name, and it even told me that there are some underlines, but there isn't any way for me to type. It didn't tell me that there is a text box or anything like that.
Mailing G address colon underline 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 underline.
Mailing G address. So again, we're seeing that reading order again read out kind of weird. Some of it is good enough that I can make sense of it. Some of it is not, right? But probably the biggest problem with this is the simple fact that I can't fill it out. Even if the text were reading out correctly to me, there's no way I could actually type into this document. If I were to go back up to name
Underline.
and I start typing AA,
There are no radio buttons on this page.
it says there are no radio buttons on the page, and that's because the screen reader is trying to jump me around each time I hit the A key. There isn't a text box for me to actually type in. So this is a pretty common example of what most PDFs out there in the wild are like for users of screen reading software. No headings, no labels on the images. Some text can be read, some text can't be read. Definitely not fillable. And yeah, it's pretty typical screen reader user experience with a PDF, I would say.
So, AP, if you had a legitimate issue that you wanted to bring to the Secretary of State's office's attention utilizing this form, how would you submit this?
I would have to print it. The only thing I could think to do would be to print it out and then have, my sighted partner or a friend or family member help me fill the thing out.
So, I mean, one of the things that we do here at Allyant is we help a lot of organizations in taking documents like this that may have been created. And I think if I looked at the footer on this one, this document was created in December of 2009. But we help, we have a services team that can convert this document into a fully accessible document that you or any other screen reader or assistive technology user would be able to complete and submit.
I'm going to do the same thing with this document that I did with the first one. I'm just going to start at the top and hit the down arrow key to work my way down, and we'll listen to how it goes and reads out.
The Great Seal of State of Montana graphic.
So right out of the gate, first thing that I hear, the Great Seal of the State of Montana graphic, right? So that's that unlabeled image that we heard read out at the start of the first document. Turns out that's the Montana State Seal. So keeping going here.
Heading level 1 polling place accessibility complaint form.
Heading level 1 polling place accessibility complaint form, right? So we're hearing the same text, but in this case, we are hearing it tagged and identified by the screen reading software as a heading. Now, in this case, let's see if there are any other headings in the document to navigate.
Form to be filed with Election Administrator and Secretary of State heading level 2.
Form to be filed.
Polling place or location of complaint heading level 2.
Polling place or location of complaint.
Complaint information heading level 2.
Complaint information. So you can see here, using the headings, I can jump to all of the various sections of this document, which I couldn't do on the first one since it had no headings. So let's make our way back up.
Polling place, form to be filed with election.
So we're at the start of the form, make our way down.
Person bringing complaint.
Person bringing complaint, right? So there's that text that we heard all kind of mixed up and jumbled in the first document.
Name colon.
Name colon.
Person bringing complaint colon full name colon.
Person bringing complaint full name.
Edit.
Edit.
Enter.
And it actually has a text box here that the screen reader identified. You heard that beep sound. That was the screen reader telling me it's now entered into the text box and it's waiting for me to begin to type.
AARON space PAGE.
So I was able to type my name into the text box.
Person bringing complaint colon full name colon edit errand page.
I hear it read back that my name is in there correctly. And now that I know that I'm in a form and the form fields are reading out, I can actually navigate just by using the tab key.
Mailing address colon street or post office box colon edit.
Mailing address, edit.
City colon edit.
City, edit.
Zip code.
Zip code, edit. So you can see here, this one would be much, much easier to fill out, right? I would be able to fill out all of the information on here by myself using a screen reader. The only thing, if necessary, if it requires an actual signature on it, I might have to print it out to sign it and mail it. But the actual filling out of the form, I can now do entirely on my own.